Monday morning, welcome back to the vlog. We have a long week ahead of us this week at Top Rank. Alvin's pulling up with his Starbucks.
Green tea lemonade, the best drink of all time.
Some green tea lemonade to kick things off, but all right. So, first car of the day, we have Junumai's Kaido House R32 GT-R. This car just got done getting California compliance with the California Air Resource Board, which means it's going to have California plates on it here really soon. That's important if you want to drive the car in California worry free. We encourage you to do it. We help you out with that. This car is going to be going to the Peterson Museum this weekend, where we are going to be doing an event with June and a bunch of our friends, Dai Yoshihara, whose car is getting delivered back to us here a little bit. Lots of cool stuff going on this weekend, but first we have to get through the week, which means some new inventory. I posted these cars the other day, but we got a second one in. So now we have one Millennium Jade R34 there and another Millennium Jade R34 here. Both of these cars are going to be available on our website, though I think they're probably going to sell maybe even before they get there. Back in the corner here, a white S15 Spec R. This car just arrived. Needs a little bit of cosmetic love, but we're going to take care of that. This one's got the like a carbon fiber wrapped hood, kind of a painted lip and side skirt, and a wide body kit. So while it is pretty cool, it could be better, and we are gonna get this cleaned up for sure. Probably some paint, make some adjustments to it, and get this thing listed on the website. Another car that we got pulled out here is this Midnight Purple R32 GT-R. This car is really great. It's got the Brembo GT brakes on it with Nismo LM GT4 wheels. It is Midnight Purple, which is a super rad color. We've shipped a couple of these in the last few weeks, but this one here is for our inventory and on our website now. Back over here, Taka's got the Nissan Figaro out. We have an event coming up in 2 weeks called JCCS, Japanese Classic Car Show in Long Beach. So we're getting some of the older inventory that we have ready to go for that. This RX-7 is getting ready to ship out to the customer that traded in the Evo. We've got another R34 GTT here on the lift that we are making some changes to. And again, back to some of the old-timey cars. We've got the Hakko GT-R here, which we were planning on taking to JCCS with us, but my buddy Ralph just picked it up, so this car is gonna be shipping to him. I'm super hyped for him to get this car. Super great dude. He bought a R32 GT-R from me and loved it, and immediately was like, I want more Japanese cars, and went straight for a Hakko GT-R, which is absolutely sick. This is a real actual GT-R. So not a clone, as many of them are, but you can see original factory front fenders here, and then from the factory came with these rear fenders set up kind of like that. So pretty rad to see this one. Right behind it is a Ken Mary. This is not a GT-R. It is a GTX, but it is a GT-R clone. So somebody kind of made it look like a GT-R. Not the correct engine for what would be a real GT-R, but the engine that did come in the Ken Mary, and overall does have the whole GT-R look to it. This thing is super rad, and we will be taking this to JCCS with us. If you want a real Ken Mary GT-R, they are very expensive. I mean, $500,000+ now. So that is why a lot of people do this kind of clone thing to them, to kind of get the GT-R look. Without that insane GT-R price tag. If you do want a real GT-R, we do have a real Hakko GT-R that is in Japan currently, or sorry, a real Ken Mary GT-R that is in Japan currently, and that car is getting some light restoration done and may end up here in the US, but for now we have this one, which is the GTX clone. And then of course, big one for me personally this week is the R32 GT-R. Absolutely need to make a bunch of progress on this week. The engine needs to kind of get torn down and swapped over to what I'm using as the new engine for the car. So lots of work in progress that needs to get made on this car this week. So there is truly no shortage of things to do around here this week. Monday already off to a huge start. Massive weekend ahead of us, so lots to get done. A few more things happening on this busy Monday. First off, this R32 GT-R just got listed on our website. I've shown this one in the last video. It's finally up and listed now. Definitely worth checking out on the R34 GT-R wheels. We've got this car that I'm wrapping up selling right now. Just sent the customer over compression test and underside photos, which were perfect across the board, so that's good. This car is finally getting set to ship out, headed down to Miami, Florida. We've got this R34 GT-R out because Taka's gonna go drive it a little bit. These cars do need to get driven from time to time, so they're not just sitting around. And then of course, Dai's car has come back to us. The Dai R33 GT-R that we built in collaboration with Dai Yoshihara, Turn 14, and GReddy. This car is gonna be coming with us this weekend to the Peterson Museum for Junimai's Kaido House event, which will be really cool. Dai is gonna be at our booth with some die casts, some die cast versions of this car that he's gonna be doing some autograph signing there and hanging out. If you know Dai, he is super cool, super amazing. If you're not familiar with him, Dai Yoshihara, legendary Formula Drift driver and now IMSA driver for the Honda team. So check that out. But more paperwork and more boring things to do in the office. I don't think anything else necessarily cool is happening for the rest of the day, but who knows? All right, wrapping up a long Monday, but I am a little excited about how today is ending. I've been talking about this car for a little bit, and you know what? I'm gonna drive it home tonight. So I do like to try to drive as many cars as I can that we get in, so I get a good understanding of what each of them is and how they drive and how they are. Number one thing most people ask me when they're trying to buy one of these cars is, how does it run? How does it drive? So the more of them I drive, better answers I can give. This one I'm expecting to be a popular car. I mean, it looks incredible and it has all the right stuff. So just gonna take it out preemptively right now, drive it, take it home for the night, see what it is. So we just listed on the website. I'm sure we're gonna wake up tomorrow to a bunch of emails about it, so might as well get an idea for the car right now. So calling it a day and back at it tomorrow. Tuesday morning, back at the office. Had some fun in the R32 last night. Got to do some driving around. If you head over to my Instagram, go back a little bit, you'll probably find the post from last night. That car is super great. We finally priced it $63,995, so $64,000, and you've got yourself a super sick R32 GT-R. Out front today, we've got a handful of cars out getting ready. I think both of these are now about to be sold, which is pretty awesome. And we got the Speyside Blue one kind of out chilling. Got a customer interested in that. Another GTT here getting going, and then car shipping out today, so first one of the week. Technically I'm expecting a good amount of cars to ship out this week, but Alvin is here giving it a look over before it hops on transport. This car is really cool. It has the Z-Tune Aero on it, which is really sick. Brembo GT brakes, Nismo LM GT4s in athlete silver, so really sick car. And congrats to the guy on finally receiving this. He bought this and stored it in Japan with us for a little bit, so finally gonna have his car to be able to drive it after years of waiting. So always hyped for people when that time comes. All right, more things going on in the shop today. Man, this midnight purple is so cool. One thing that we have going on is this S15 Spec R that just arrived. This is pretty sick. It has really cool body kit on it. Who makes the body kit, David?
What's up?
What kit is this?
It's the Origin Raceline.
Origin Raceline kit. Two-tone, as it's supposed to be, David says. It has this one thing that's kind of funky though. It's not a real carbon fiber hood. This is the OEM hood with a carbon fiber wrap on it. So we are making the decision to get rid of the wrap and put it back to just all white. If this was real carbon fiber, it might be a cool selling point, but the fact that it is just a wrap, even though it's a really nicely done wrap actually, we think it just looks a little cheap for the car. So David's hitting with a heat gun, and we are gonna see if this comes off without removing any other paint. If it takes paint off, then send it to paint. we're finding out that the heat gun does help, but it actually peels pretty good just on its own. It's kind of fun actually. Slightly satisfying. It's like peeling a sunburn.
The start is satisfying. I'm sure the end of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pain, man. Oh, well, it'll look a lot better when it's done. All right, only took the 3 of us a few minutes to do it, but it looks way better without the wrap on it. Looks like the clean car that it's supposed to be. Not that I hate on carbon fiber wraps. It just, on this car specifically, didn't look as clean as it needed to be for the rest of the body kit in the car. But looks way better now, so we're gonna buff, polish this, get it cleaned up, and then hopefully have this listed on the website soon. Over here, Ernie is making some more progress on the 32. What's the struggle today?
We've got the trans out and on the engine next.
Trans out, engine next.
Yep. I'll take this axle out in order to move this axle's unbolted so the engine can come lift out of there.
And then once the engine is down, start swapping things from that over to that.
Right. And then the other thing we also have to do is get the oil cooler out, send it out for ultrasonic cleaning, because we don't know what all from this engine might have went through it. So we have to make sure all the particles of all possibilities are covered, and then also clean these hoses out because they're gonna probably have stuff.
Is this an opportune time to replace these hoses then, or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So we can
Cool.
get those. I would take them and get them matched up.
Maybe that's a good thing to bring to GReddy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing to bring to GReddy. Get some of those new Dime PSI hoses from GReddy that I've been itching for. So I guess I will take some pictures, send that over to Kenji, and see if we can get something done on that. Engine is coming out. There it is. Wow. Look how clean and nice this all was.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like it just went in.
It looks like it just went in. Because it did.
Yeah.
One, well, 2.
Couple days of
We made it 2 events with this engine. You were a good engine. Now, everything over to this one. Continuing with this really busy Tuesday, we just had a customer stop by, was looking for some GTTs. So, he was really interested in these 2. He said he follows me on YouTube, saw these on Instagram and on YouTube in the last video, which was really sick to hear. But unfortunately, I think both of these, as mentioned earlier, are sold. One going to Mexico, one going over to Florida. We do have some other GTTs here. This one is really cool. I like this one a lot. Has the Altia arrow. I showed him this one. We have this one that we are doing the Nismo bumper on currently. So both of these I think are good options, but there is one that definitely stands out if you like the idea of having a GT-R looking GTT, which nothing wrong with that, by the way. And it's this one right here. So this car is currently in our inventory at importavehicle.com. This is great, same color as my car, so obviously the color pops to me. This silver color works so good on R34s. It has the OEM GTT rear bumper, but it's paired up with these aftermarket fenders that give it a lot more of a GT-R look, way more distinct look than what you would get on a regular GTT. The reason that's important is that it helps these Urus side skirts fit properly to the rear fender. So I'll show you more what I mean about that by going back over to the JGTTs here in a minute, but this one has the Z-Tune bumper on it, which is so sick for these cars. The OEM GT-R fenders, which also makes a big deal because it makes that bumper work, and it buttons up nicely again to that side skirt. And then again with the R-Tune carbon fiber hood on this, it gives it like a pretty unique look for a GT-R, which is especially a unique look for a GTT because again, pretty convincing when you look at it. One thing that is kind of a giveaway sometimes, and we'll see this on another car in a minute, is the gas cap is really hard to get right, or the fuel door is really hard to get right on these aftermarket fenders. So this car is available on our website right now for $65,000, and it sounds like he's pretty seriously considering this one, given now that the other 2 seem like they might be gone. to touch back on the GTT rear quarters that I was just talking about, we'll start with the fuel door since that was the last topic. This one you can see is correct actually, because they used actual GT-R fenders, an actual GT-R fuel door to go on it. So this is a real fender, which is quite a process. Basically you have to cut the old fender out, pop all of the welds out, and then put the new fender on, which is very, very time consuming and very expensive. We got quoted about 10 grand to do that job, so it is not inexpensive. But the big one here is, again, these side skirts. So this car and this car have the exact same side skirt. Now the biggest difference is that this is gonna be absolutely flush and completely perfect with the OEM GT-R rear quarter, whereas this one is gonna have this kind of little ledge that sticks out a little bit because this is a stock rear fender. So if we're looking straight down on it, hopefully the camera can pick this up with the sunlight, you can see that this one does not stick out quite as much as this one. The GT-R fender is much wider. So hard to tell when you're not looking at one right next to it, but definitely stands out when they are side by side. Either way, the GTT is a really cool car on its own. It doesn't have to do the full GT-R look if you don't want it to, because the Altillo look is super cool to me. I like the way this car looks, the way that it is. To me, it kind of becomes its own car. There's not as much comparison between GT-R versus GTT when you let it just be a GTT. That being said, it is so sick to see the way they look as a GT-R clone. So feel free to let me know in the comments which ones you guys would pick, if you'd leave it a regular GTT or if you would go GT-R clone on it. But that wraps up another appointment for today, and I think we are getting to the point where I'm about to head out to meet Andrea and Johnny from Pennzoil for dinner tonight, which will be great to catch up with those guys, and off to another day tomorrow of more appointments and hopefully selling some more cars. Pretty successful day at the office today. Did get a lot done, including selling the yellow NSX-R that is in our Japan inventory right now. So I'll pass myself back for that. It's nice. And then tonight we are headed out to have dinner with some of the guys from Shell, Pennzoil, that are in town from Houston, and I needed to drive something. Driving the R32 GT-R that I have had the last couple days has been really, really nice, but if you're not from Southern California, to get out to Ontario, there is a road that is just gonna be jam-packed with traffic the entire way. So I figured I would spare myself the eternal start and stop in and out of first gear and take something automatic, which is this 2010 FJ Cruiser Trail Team. I used to have one of these as a daily driver that I absolutely liked so much. That sold. We have one of these here, so I'm gonna drive it, stretch the legs on this thing a little bit. This is super rad. What a lot of people don't know is that when you import these from Japan, a lot of these cars went to Japan when they turned, or when they were first built, I should say, obviously prior to them being of any sort of age limit. Going back to Japan is a lot easier. You can import new cars to Japan from the US. Generally, a new car in Japan, you have to wait for 25 to come here, but because this car was built here in the United States, it's actually considered re-import, not import. So we can just bring these back whenever we want. So we look in Japan for FJ Cruisers, specifically Trail Teams, and we bring them back to the US to sell them here. These things are super rad. They've exploded in popularity with the off-road community. I like them a whole lot, and conveniently there's one here, so it's gonna make my drive out to Ontario a lot easier. All right, the week is pressing on. The FJ was easy, nice drive out to see Johnny for the Pennzoil dinner, so that was great. Back in the R32 GT-R, I can't get enough of this car. I'm enjoying driving it so much. It's been super great. I know I keep talking about it, but again, I am still kind of in a decision-making process for what my next Japan car is gonna be, and just a clean white R32 GT-R is jumping pretty high to the top of the list right now. We do have some new cars showing up. Here we've got this GTT that we've been working on. That's looking pretty nice. It's on R33 GT-R wheels, which is a little bit different, but definitely gives a unique look. I like this car because it has the complete Altia aero kit on it, so that looks really nice to me. Kind of makes its own thing. It's not trying to be like a GT-R copy. This car though, oh man, the S15 Spec R. So I own one of these. It's in Japan. I've actually never really seen it before. It's in storage and under a cover, and just have never really gotten a chance to spend any time with it, because when I'm there, it's usually the R34 GT-R that gets all my attention. But mine is eligible for import, so at some point it's coming up. This car is looking really good though. Love the body kit on this car. It looks so sick. Earlier in the video, we peeled off the carbon fiber hood or carbon fiber wrap on this, which I think made a huge difference. But this car itself is turning out really, really nice. I'm a huge fan of it. Earlier, I didn't really love the over fender idea of the car when I first saw it. It's certainly grown on me a lot. I think just because it's all cleaned up now and looking super nice, and you can see the pearl in the paint, and it just matches the rest of their car so nicely. The way that the fenders exaggerate out. Got these taillights, which I've been shopping for my car for a good amount of time. I need to put some effort into getting mine ready. And then a white R32 GT-R getting delivered by Caesar right now. We're gonna go check this one out. I see some Rainick stickers on it, which is pretty interesting to me. Rainick is an engine builder that I've been kind of exploring a little bit more about in Japan. I know about them because of the Group A racing contributions that they made with the R32 GT-R. But as I start to make a decision about my R32 in Japan and what that's going to look like, or my R34 coming here, I start to wonder, do I want a Rainick engine, which could be kind of sick. So the OG Rainick stickers on the back here, Racing and Rally Engineering, which is pretty cool. Generally, when you see a Rainick sticker, it is right here on the front lip. That is kind of their signature thing that goes from Group A Racing. And under the hood, let's see if there's anything cool. Got more Rainick stickers on it there. Looks like it's got some cams in it. So this is a pretty interesting car to me right now, just because I'm curious to go inside and take a look at what history we have on this car, what documentation is going to show up with it, and if this is in fact a car that got touched by Rainick, which would be really, really, really cool. Got a little call from my friend Verone over at Porsche Santa Clarita, and said, yo, Gunther Works is having a little party tonight. Can you bring something cool? And guess what? Bang, the Roof RT12R. This is I knew this was going to happen at some point in one of my vlogs, that I was going to be doing something with this car. I like this car, drove it a lot earlier this year. I haven't driven it much lately, but now I have a reason to take it out. This RT12R is so sick. It's based off of a 997 Porsche, my favorite Porsche, and obviously in silver. Love silver. It's got carbon ceramic brakes. It's 700 horsepower twin turbo on a roof. So think of how sick that is. And this car absolutely gets down. It is manual, so love that. Has a built-in interior roll cage, which is pretty cool, and pretty similar to just a standard 997 interior, but not your standard 997. If you're not familiar with Roof, they have built some incredible cars off of the Porsche chassis. When they started building in this era, they started using what's called Porsche bodies in white. So these are actually VINed Porsche cars, but are reimagined by Roof, and they absolutely get down. I like this car so much, can't even begin to tell you. If you scroll back through my Instagram, there's a bunch of really rad posts. Never really done a video with it, but tonight's the night. So gonna go take this over the Gunther Works, hang out with the guys, and hopefully get some good photos and a lot of looks in this thing. So nice. So we just made it out to Gunther Works, and the event is already popping. Good amount of people here and a lot of cars. I got Jess's 993 Turbo. She's actually my neighbor, which is kind of cool, literally in real life. And then the Roof, which I drove here tonight. Man, I like this car so much. Every time I get a chance to drive it, I'm just so much more happy with it. This car is so sick. Wish I could keep it forever for the rest of my life. The other cars here are pretty sick. Obviously, you got some GT3s, a GT2 RS, a 991. and I'm gonna take a little walk around and see what we can find around here because there's a ton of cars. So the idea behind this event is kind of like a little pre-party for a Porsche event coming up called Luftgekühlt, which is something Patrick Long has been doing for air-cooled Porsches. So there's a good mix of some pretty cool air-cooled Porsches here, obviously kind of all around. But one thing that catches my eye is this S15 Spec R. These are growing on me a lot. I'm happy I bought one when they were cheap. And now that we're starting to get some of these imported, we're seeing a little bit more of them all over the place here and there. But man, this one's pretty clean on Kansai wheels too, so shout out to whoever owns this car. Right, inside there's probably some cool stuff. There we go. I always hate being the person in the middle of the car reveal doing video, but I'll give you guys a look. This thing is so sick. I love the color. That's clean, man. That is clean. Wow, it's busy. Out here they have some other Porsches. Gunther Works, I guess I should say. This thing is pretty sick. I like the turbo side vents, like the 997 has, but on a 993. That's pretty gangster. It's a good color. And then they got the little workshop over here going on. Lots of different things. Got a convertible. Got some cars in some early stages. This one is pretty rad too. It's like a ruby star color. This thing is clean. I could see myself rocking one of these. This is always a pretty cool little part of Gunther Works. They machine their own wheels in here. So you got a huge Haas machine. You see this is what they start with. Well, what they start with is that. They file it down, and then eventually with the faces and that. And I guess we should have started here. Starts here, then goes to that, then to that, then to that, and then finished product. Someone told me there was an R32 over here, and they are correct. This thing is pretty sick. White on white TE37s. I like it. This fits with the theme of the video, which is does Brian get a white R32 GT-R for Japan? And it's looking like a yes. Looks so good on white TEs. This is like a Mickey spec kind of car. Really great. RB Goji on Instagram if you want. Looks really clean. Dang, this is good. I'm liking the white R32 vibe right now. All right, guys, that is a wrap. Gonna head home, but I'm taking the long way. We're gonna cruise PCH. As long as we got the car out, might as well enjoy a cool little ocean breeze on the drive home. Back at work on a Friday. Big weekend ahead of us, but taking the roof out last night was great. I like this car so much. 700 horsepower, 219 mile an hour top speed, twin turbo, 6-speed. This thing is so sick. It's built off of a regular Porsche chassis, 997 Porsche chassis, and everything on it completely redone and reimagined by Roof. So you won't find a Porsche badge anywhere on this car, but obviously it looks like a 997. That's what I like so much about it. Kind of just looks like a sleeper despite being its own monster. We got some other cars showing up here today. The S15 is a work in progress. I think Taka drove this home last night, so I'll be excited to hear what he thought of that. We have a big event this weekend at the Peterson for our friend June Amai. Our friend Dai is going to be at our booth, so we are taking some cars, some R34 GT-Rs. In front of us, Yaska's car. This is his personal car. This thing is really sick. R33 GT-R, Nismo LMGT1s, full Nismo side skirts, Nismo front bumper, the 400R front bumper, which is insane. 400R hood. He's done such a good job with this car. It's what I aspire to have my car be. It's got the black V-Spec 2 R34 GT-R seats in it. This Nismo carbon piece that I want really badly for my own. So excited to see this back. He's dropping it off because he's going to be also driving an R34. I think our plan is for us to all take R34 GT-Rs to the Peterson. Tonight, there's a car meet that I'll be bringing you guys along with. I think I'm going to take my R33 unless it makes more sense to just take the R34 I'm going to take for the weekend. But aside from that, inside, lots going on here and lots to do. Wrapping up a long Friday at the office. We got a lot done today. Kenji came by, gave me this die cast. We had a little meeting today. It's pretty cool. It is a GReddy white R33 GT-R. I had him sign it. It looks just like my R33 GT-R, which is pretty sick, which is the car I am taking home tonight. There is a cool meet tonight. My friend Brandon puts on this thing called The Meet LA, which is kind of a invite only, drops the address kind of last minute to you kind of thing. Cool way for people with cool cars and cool creators to kind of hang out without it turning into an absolute mess. This car is what I'm taking tonight. Obviously, it's kind of what I've been driving around lately, so I want to stay consistent with that. This weekend, there is an event that we are taking some cars to. So Taka's got the white R34 GT-R. Yaska's driving the Midnight Purple, Alvin is driving the Silver, and I will be taking a Bayside Blue R34 GT-R on LMGT4s. I haven't really taken out many Bayside Blue cars, so I want to go out, practice my photography skills and Instagram skills with a Bayside Blue car. So I'm going to be doing that, but the meet tonight, so we're going to go check that out. I'll bring you guys along. Should be some cool cars. Going to get this thing cleaned up and start making my way up to LA. All right, we are here at the Meet LA. So the Meet LA is kind of a cool little thing. I say little, not to make it sound small, but it's intentionally small. It's an invite only kind of deal where basically they hit a few people up, drop a idea for a meet, say about where it's going to be, and then a little bit before hit you with the address. And what's funny about that is that the address doesn't even get you in here, because you can know the address is where it is, and you can probably not, but there's actually a meet happening over there. So when you pull up and say you're here for the meet, if they recognize you and recognize the car, they tell you to come up here. But if they don't recognize you and don't recognize the car, they tell you that the meet is over there. So there's actually a bunch of people out front that we might go check out in a little bit that think that they're at this thing, but they're not at this thing. These are the people that are here. So this is a really cool kind of structure that they got the hookup on. You can see I got the R33 parked up here, but there's a lot of other cool stuff here. We got a Chaser, got this AZ1, a short nose Hako, which is pretty interesting. So the Hako and Hako GT-Rs that we generally get are standard Hakos. This is a short nose, so it's actually much shorter than a regular Hako. We've got Supra over here. I think I've seen this car before. Stock wheels in the front, some welds in the back. We've got a pretty sick Civic Type R. I think this guy might have got this from me. He lives out in this area. So if that's the case, maybe we'll find him in a little bit. A couple NSXs. This one is always nice on TEs. This one, Sinister NSX on the Meg Blue TE37s on silver. This thing is just dripping with ARC parts, so he's always got some cool stuff. He's got CRX SIR, Mazda RX-7s, we got some R35s, and of course some cool Honda stuff back here. These guys get down like that. Look at this, top rank. I know this car. This thing is sick, Spec R Rafa. So this is a car that I sold a while back. I waited for it to turn 25 and he imported it, but this one's got a wide body kit on it. This thing is looking pretty clean, my dude. This is really similar to the one that we just got in. It's been in the vlog earlier. Spec R Rafa, if you want to give him a follow for some S15 spec R stuff. This silver R35 is so sick. I know I've been talking a lot lately about needing an R32 or wanting another clean R32, but this is another really, really, really good option. Got another silver Supra over here. This one's on TEs, single turbo. Looks pretty clean. Damn. Cars are starting to show up. Got this R32 over here that came from us. He runs this in Nissan Challenge too. This thing is pretty sick. Is it? No, I'm thinking of a different car, but it's still sick. On TEs, looks good. Starting to fill up a little bit in here, but we're gonna go say what up to everybody that's here. Again, almost everybody here knows each other because that's how you get invited to this kind of thing. So when people think about like the Fast and Furious, right, and LA car scene and all of that kind of crazy stuff, this meet is giving me definitely that kind of vibes. Like, look at how sick this venue is, which don't ask me where it is. We're not gonna share the address because I don't want it to get absolutely burnt like all the other spots, but it has a lofted parking deck with an area to look down over where the car meet is, which is really sick. And it's super chill, which is really great. Not a ton of cars. Again, that's the entire idea, is just car homies hanging out with car homies in a cool location, and not burning the spot by sharing the address. But you could seriously fit so many more cars on this second floor and look down over it. So rad. All right, so this has been a super rad spot, and I'm looking forward to them doing another event here. We are going to cruise out. I am going to meet Steve, who is doing a little car meet in Glendale, which I don't think is too far from here. I do have an early morning because I have to meet Di in the morning, but I mean, if the car is out and the boys are out, we gotta go. Saturday morning, and we are back. I know I usually say I don't do weekend appointments, but this is the third weekend in a row that I am at Top Rank on the weekend. We've got a few things going on. We've got, just pick up this Bayside Blue R34 GT-R that I'm taking to the Peterson tomorrow for Juno Mai's thing. We have Dai Yoshihara coming to pick up the Dai R33 GT-R. And while I am here, I have an appointment checking out this white R32 GT-R. All right, just spent some time going through the whole buying and selling process, especially for California, and we are getting ready to take this thing out for a test drive now. What up? All right, so Dai is here picking up the Dai 33. Hand you the keys right now.
My own car, I guess.
This car is like unnecessarily incredible. It has everything on it, and I drove my 33 today, and then I had to move your car, and it bums me out because it's so good, man. Like, really? Yeah, like I like sit and just think about all of the things that I need for my R33 now when I look at your car. Like, I mean, the hood especially is absolutely ridiculous, but the Hall Tech is something that I think I want in all of my cars. But tomorrow we'll be at the Peterson. Yep. And Dai is gonna have this there, so do yourself a favor and come check it out.
That'd be great. See you guys.
See ya. Man, that thing sounds so good. The customer just took off, so we are closing things up here. He came to see that white R32 GT-R and on white wheels, which does look really cool. They're white work emotions. White on white is always nice, but something else caught his eye while he was here, and it's the 32 that I've been talking about all week. This thing is sick, and I just knew it was gonna be a matter of time before somebody was like, you know what, that's the one. I mean, this would be the one for me. This is the car that I've been saying that if there was a R32 in our inventory that I was going to take home to keep for myself, this would be it. So I am hyped that he felt the same way. The white work emotions does look really cool, but you know, something about an R32 GT-R and R34 wheels just does it. He also liked the fact that this one had the Nismo bumper, so that is a big plus. So hopefully this works out for him. Underneath my car is a pair of engines that Ernie and Sean have been hard at work on, getting things switched over. There's a bunch of new parts I have coming for this thing. I have to run to Huntington Beach to pick up the new Nismo oil baffles and some other parts there. So we've got both engines out, got the Trans sitting here. We are about 2 weeks away from the next round of Nissan Challenge, so lots to get done, but have the R33 put away for the weekend because I am taking a Bayside Blue R34 GT-R tomorrow to the Peterson, so taking it home with me tonight because we have an early day tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. at the Peterson Museum. Good morning. It is 6 a.m. on Sunday, 6:30 a.m. on Sunday. It is pretty cloudy here in LA, but we are at the Peterson Museum for the Kaido House event with our friend June. We've got a few cars we brought out. This is the R34 GT-T on our website with a GT-R conversion that Elvin drove today. Taka drove the white R34 GT-R on silver LM GT4s. And then over here, we've got the midnight purple R34 GT-R on LM GT4s. This is also for sale on our website. Yaska drove this one today. And then I took the Bayside Blue R34 GT-R V-Spec, also on LM GT4s. So really good wheel selection around here to start the day off. But this car was super nice, easy to drive, really comfortable. These cars are actually really nice to drive when you leave them mostly stock. When you start to modify them, they become, you know, I mean, obviously they're more fun when you modify them, but you know, they become a bit more of a challenge to drive sometimes. But these two cars here, super easy, super nice. Over here I see Kenji's R32 GT-R, also on LM GT4s. This car is so sick. Kenji picked this up from us a while back. Silver, obviously, I love silver. Has the Nismo appearance package on it, these LM GT4 wheels, and these new GReddy brakes, which I have a feeling a set of those might end up on one of my cars sooner than later because they are really sick. But there's lots of cars starting to pull in here, so we're going to get situated and be back in a minute with some more of what's around. We've got some more cars starting to show up. Kenji's got the hood pop, so we got to take a look underneath. Man, this thing is so clean. This 33 though, man, I've talked about it so many times in the past with the full Nismo Aero, the Brembo GTs with the Nismo LM GT4s. I mean, I feel like this might be final form of my R33 at some point, if all those pieces can come together. But there's some other cool stuff around here too. Got a Civic Type R at the final bout, Drift RX-7, Mini GT, DGK, Kaido House, getting set up over here. Kaido House is a die-cast company, and see they've got some cool stuff available today. The lines are already forming for what's going to be probably some insanely long lines to purchase these things. This is one of June's personal cars. He picked this up from me a while back. It was completely stock, and he kept it completely stock for a long time. Now he's kind of cut it up a little bit, made it what's called like a Kaido racer style, which is pretty cool, and definitely a different take on a Hako for sure. Right around the corner from it, oh look who we found, it's Aldomos.
Yeah, it's cool.
Another Hako. This one is got the Advan Yokohama livery on it, so that's pretty sick. This would be amazing on my R32 GT-R someday, if it ever becomes possible. But out here, got some random cars pulling up, some 8.6s, Chasers, another 32, the Kaido House Datsun 510, which again, pretty rad styling. I really like the neon lip on the front of it, gives it a pretty unique look. We got our friend Sean Lee's R34 GT-R here. We've got the yellow RX-7, which looks like it has like a full RE kit on it, which is pretty cool. Interesting take on a S2000. This is a pretty extreme kit. I've never seen fenders quite like this before, which is pretty wild. See, interesting color too. Nice Z right here. This Supra, one of my favorite Supras here in Southern California. It's got the Rega Master Evos on it, just like mine. He kept the active aero lip, which is pretty cool. My car had that also, but when I put the GReddy one on, obviously that went away. And my favorite feature of this car is this really interesting TRD lip. So it's like a regular Supra wing, but it is adjustable right there, which is so sick. It's the only time I've ever seen one of those. Apparently they are incredibly rare, so I will take his word for that. Got some other RX-7s, the Evo, lots of cool stuff showing up, but I absolutely need a coffee. But at the very minimum, wanted to have a quick look around at some of these cars before the music starts, and it's probably becomes too difficult to vlog, so find a coffee. Things are really starting to fill up around here. There's a lot of people showing up. This is sick. NSXR, I didn't sell this to him, but I do know the owner. Cool guy, cool guy. Look at all the people popping off over here. We got Dai's car getting some love. We got Larry Chen's car here, his camera car. This actually turned into a mini GT. Check this thing out inside. Crazy. Over here you can see the mini GT version of it, which is pretty sick. Someday someone's turning my car into a diecast, but here he is right here.
Where car?
Where car, dude? Where car is right there and right there.
This just came back from Laguna Seca this past weekend. I did my personal best 139.6, I think.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, which I'm really stoked on. I've been trying to get into the under 140 club at Laguna Seca for a while, and I was able to do it last session, pretty much last lap. It's just, for me, this car is just so much fun to drive.
This car is sick. This is supercharged?
It's turbocharged.
Turbocharged.
Yeah.
Turbocharged. Oh, wow.
So
Dang.
people ask me why I don't time attack my Supra, and I honestly feel like it's more satisfaction for me to be able to get time out of this car,
Right.
because I'm running my own gears.
Right.
It's less power.
True.
And it's just fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lower price of entry versus a Supra, and to be honest, so many people time attack their Supras. A lot of Supras out there.
I don't want to say this in a bad way, but the Supra is kind of a cheater car because it's just inherently fast.
100% it's a cheater car. To be able to get time out of this, you have to be really committed.
Yeah, you have to work for it.
Yeah, it's commitment.
Yeah. Well, this thing is sick. And it's a diecast. Immortalized forever as a mini
I am
GT.
literally an action figure now.
You're an action figure now. That's sick.
I think that's so ridiculous. It's kind of incredible.
That's crazy.
I gotta. Can you pinch me?
Yeah, I know, crazy. And people have been signing. You've been signing them all day. That's great. It's sick, man. So cool. Someday, man. Someday I'm having a diecast.
It's gonna be. It'll be soon. Your R32 will be immortalized in a diecast. I think that would be super sick.
That would be really cool.
And then it'll be like a little mini 3D printed action figure of you going like this.
Yeah, in my little race suit. Yeah. That'd be sick. That's me. Sick, dude. Oh man, someday. Larry was just telling us about his turbo car, and then Dai had to go.
Look at my baby cute little turbo.
Dang. Dai had to flex on him.
And sequential.
That's rude. That's rude. There are so many people in line to purchase these diecasts, and then after you buy them, you can have all of the homies over here sign them for you.
If you want to
Look at this.
car, just make sure you have it out and ready.
So famous. Very, very famous. Dai is signing actual Dai stickers. Dang.
I don't have a cool toy like his. So.
It doesn't have a cool car like his, he said.
I mean, I do have a cool car.
All in all, this event has been super cool. The sun is coming out. It's gonna be a beautiful day here in LA. Might go do some driving a little bit later on. Stretch the legs on this R34 GT-R, but I think this is how we are going to end this week's vlog. So thanks again for hanging out, and lots of new cars and lots of more things to do next week. Looking forward to JCCS, getting the R32 GT-R up and running for Nissan Challenge the following week, and a bunch of new inventory coming in. So see you guys next week.